Basically, as we expand I-70, we have an opportunity to reimagine what it's going to look like. There's been 20 or 30 years of history on sort of the billboard wars on I-70. This simply creates a commission. It includes the head of the Committee on Transportation from the House and the Senate, people from the counties, from the Municipal League, from the Scenic Byways Advisory Committee, to try to just discuss what that would look like. And I think we have a good opportunity in front of us. I'm not going to belabor, I'll let my witnesses talk about what it does, but I think this would be a good starting point for a discussion, and I hope we have that discussion. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Seeing no questions from the committee, can I get a show of hands? How many people are here in support of Senator Weber's legislation? Okay. And then how many people are here in opposition to Senator Weber's legislation? And is there anybody for informational purposes that's here on Senator Weber's legislation? Okay. So given the number of witnesses that we have, I'm going to ask every witness for or against to limit your testimony to 2 minutes. So just keep that in mind. We'll have a timer going up here, so we'll let you know when your time has expired, but appreciate the willingness of witnesses to cooperate with the chairman. So with that, why don't we start with the first witness in support, and whoever wants to come up here first doesn't. And for all the witnesses today, we need you to fill out a witness form. So it looks like, sir, you have yours here. So every other witness, if you have not yet filled out a witness form, there are forms that are available on the desk up by Senator Weber. And so just make sure you fill those out either before you come up and testify or shortly after you finish your testimony. Otherwise, it will not be reflected in the record. With that, sir, proceed whenever you're ready.
Good morning, Chair Lutkemeyer and members of the committee who are here and esteemed colleagues. My name is John Hawk, and I'm president of Scenic Missouri, a board member of Scenic America, and a life member of the Conservation Federation of Missouri. I'm here today to speak in support of the proposed bill to establish a commission to study and recommend strategies to enhance the safety, visual, and scenic character of Interstate 70 in our state. Scenic Missouri is deeply invested in the well-being of our community and the infrastructure that connects us. We believe this bill is a crucial step towards enhancing both the safety and aesthetics of such an important transportation corridor, what we call Missouri's Main Street. Scenic Missouri has been specifically focused on Interstate 70 since MoDOT first proposed rebuilding and expanding the corridor in 2002. We responded by publishing Lewis and Clark Parkway 2 proposals, and this work outlined a plan for I-70 expansion that included many of the enhancements that we would hope would be considered by the proposed commission. Copies of the document were provided at that time to the full House and Senate. Next year, we celebrate the 70th anniversary of the construction of Interstate 70 in Missouri. For the most part, it's been a civil engineering project. Build a road from point A to point B. But many are not happy with the image that I-70 now presents to residents and visitors to our state. It's generally considered to be one of the most congested, unsafe, and visually cluttered stretches of roadway in the country. But if the commission is established as proposed in SCR9, it will be the first time that any comprehensive, cross-discipline, cross-interest group look has been taken at how the project is working. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And that goes also for creating this commission for improving the safety and beauty of I-70. With the state's current commitment to improve I-70, we believe this is the time to do that work. The participants in the proposed SCR9 commission are inclusive of virtually every stakeholder who might be interested in I-70 improvement. The businesses, the communities, conservation groups, and tourism, and the Scenic Byway Advisory Committee organizations, which include the Missouri Division of Tourism, Department of Conservation, Natural Resources, the outdoor advertising industry, Missouri Department of Transportation, the American Automobile Association, University of Missouri Historic Preservation, Scenic Missouri, our group, Missouri Chamber of Commerce, and the Missouri Retailers Association. It couldn't be more inclusive. The Commission will provide interdisciplinary collaboration by engaging experts and professionals such as landscape architects who have expertise in integrating infrastructure with natural and built environments. In this commission, they would serve as a bridge between engineers, planners, and environmental specialists. They would support public engagement, facilitating discussions with communities to ensure proposals meet public needs and desires. We believe that the Commission can provide recommendations for improved safety on I-70 through design. Thoughtful landscaping can enhance safety and reduce glare, improving visibility and discourage distractions to driving. Well-lit and pleasing rest areas encourage drivers to take breaks, reducing fatigue-related accidents. We believe the Commission can address issues related to community environmental impact of I-70, such as traffic noise, pollution, and access issues. It can promote sustainable infrastructure solutions such as wildlife crossings or noise-reducing barriers. Actions such as planting native vegetation along I-70 can reduce erosion, improve air quality, and provide habitats for wildlife. And the Commission can provide and promote enhanced driver experience and well-being. Aesthetic improvements such as landscaping and a visually appealing highway can attract more travelers, boosting local tourism and business revenue. In summary, the proposed commission ensures that I-70 is reimagined based upon expert analysis, public input, and long-term planning, leading to a safer, more efficient, and more enjoyable driving experience. On the 100th anniversary...
Sir, I'm going to just interrupt you. I appreciate the comments. We've gone quite over the 2 minutes. So I'm going to open it up right now for questions from the committee members. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. We appreciate it. All right, next up, we're going to have a witness in opposition to the SCR. First witness in opposition.
Just stay here.
Yes, and we do have a quorum present now. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Lukemeyer.
Here.
O'Laughlin. Searpoy. May. Williams.
We have quorum. Sir, you are free to proceed. Is this is a handout for the committee? That's fine. You can. Yes, we'll make sure it gets to the committee.
My name is Hank Milford. I've been in the outdoor advertising business for 39 years in the state of Missouri. I'm also the president of the Missouri Outdoor Advertising Association. On behalf of the members of our association, our advertisers, our union and non-union employees, large and small landowners located in large and small cities and counties throughout Missouri, I testify today in opposition to concurrent resolution number 9. First of all, the Improve I-70 project is a result of years of studies and follow-up studies of the traffic safety on I-70 from Kansas City to St. Louis, resulting in the award and commencement of the work by highly qualified and vetted engineering firms and contractors for the Kingdom City to Columbia route, as well as the Warrenton to Wentzville phases of the project. In addition, MoDOT has already awarded a contract for a technical I-70 piece around Rocheport, and in May, MoDOT will make a final award on the I-70 Odessa to Blue Springs work. After all the years of studies and follow-up studies, to create another commission to further study beautification and scenic character of I-70 amounts to a waste of taxpayer dollars at a time that the Missouri General Assembly has made this essential corridor reconstruction a priority. SCR9 is a thinly disguised ruse to disrupt the outdoor advertising industry in Missouri, a legitimate industry that employs hundreds of tax-paying individuals who rely on it to provide for their families. Our industry also contributes millions to Missouri communities through public service announcements. Scenic Missouri is the entity behind SCR9, and the organization has long tried to ban or severely restrict billboards in Missouri. Scenic Missouri initiated an initiative petition to amend Missouri's Constitution in 2000 to prohibit new billboards, restrict control of vegetation, and provide for local regulatory restrictions. That amendment was rejected by Missouri voters. Shortly after, the billboard industry, working with the legislature, MoDOT, and many municipalities, negotiated to place statutory provisions on the spacing and size of billboards, making Missouri one of the more stringently regulated states in the nation. Members of the General Assembly should recognize SCR9 as a measure to interrupt the progress of I-70's much-needed renovation so as to achieve the visual and scenic character that only Scenic Missouri approves of. Members of the Missouri Outdoor Advertising Association have worked closely with MoDOT and municipalities to ensure safe and proper regulation of billboards. The Missouri Outdoor Advertising Association wishes to go on record in opposition to this resolution. Thank you.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support. We're going to go back and forth. Further witnesses in support.
Good morning. I'll be brief. My name is Bill Rupert. I reside actually in two places. Main house is in Kirkwood, Missouri, and my other home is in southern Boone County. I frequent the trip between Kirkwood and southern Boone County every week. I actually try to avoid I-70. I think the Highway Department, they're getting ready to resurface Highway 50, and I really appreciate that because that's an important road. My career started working for the Chancellor of the University of Missouri, Columbia, back in the 70s, and that Chancellor had a vision that campus was ugly, and her vision to this day has proven to really pay benefits to improve that environment of that Columbia campus. Their enrollments continue to be really good, and the folks there tell me that a first impression of that campus is so important to maintain student enrollment, and I feel that anything that can be done to help the corridor of I-70 even beyond billboards, for better curb appeal. We're a beautiful state, and it sure doesn't always show when you're driving on I-70. I have full faith that the renovated I-70 is going to be improved for traffic, but the curb appeal of that corridor is really not what I think we really want to show off our great state of Missouri. And I really hope that we can be more than anywhere USA, which so much of that highway is that. So I'm in full support of re-looking again at I-70 in this venture, and would appreciate that this task force or commission could be established to do so. Thank you.
And thank you for keeping your testimony right at 2 minutes.
Hey,
Literally, there was a second left on the timer.
tried.
That was very impressive. Any questions for this witness? Senator O'Laughlin.
Well, I think I just have a statement. This committee, if it were appointed, is really just for recommendation. Isn't that correct? So
Yeah, that's right.
I don't see any harm in that.
Yeah, I think input from the citizens is always good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, further witnesses in opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Mark Rhodes, I'm the executive director of the Missouri Outdoor Advertising Association. I simply, on behalf of some of our members, wanted to get on the record Jury Displays, Inc., Lamar Outdoor Advertising, Link Media Outdoor, Jury Southwest, Portier Advertising Company, all wanted to go on record in opposition to SCR9. So that is the purpose of my being here today. Thank you.
Any questions? Senator Searboy.
I probably should have asked this a minute ago, but do you know what's the price range between a billboard on I-70 and the billboard on the smallest highway? How much does that generate
You're
a
talking
month?
to the wrong witness, Senator.
Okay. I thought I should have probably said something a little bit
We
ago.
can bring Hank back up if you'd like.
Well, that's up to the chairman. I was just curious what, how much money we're talking about these folks make off these billboards as property owners and stuff. So, and it's kind of, I know a couple years ago we fought over the grain belt and property rights, and then we're doing solar saying no, and now we're saying possibly no again. So, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We'll get with you after the hearing.
Thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support?
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Zach Morris. I'm with the Conservation Federation of Missouri. We are a federation of over 100 different conservation and outdoor organizations in Missouri. One of those is Scenic Missouri, recently became an affiliate with us. We're generally in support of anything to beautify Missouri and get more folks thinking about the outdoors and engaged in viewing native landscapes. But we also recently passed a resolution at our annual convention in support of wildlife crossings. And we think that Missouri is a place that could benefit from some of these crossings, and especially the timing seems good with the renovations of I-70. Those crossings would prevent deer collisions with vehicles. They would save a lot of Missourians a lot of money and possibly some lives, as well as enhancing our natural resources for Missourians to enjoy. So we think this committee could lead to an opportunity to review some of that and get a little more public support behind those initiatives. So we are in favor.
Thank you for your testimony. And you had a full minute left, so really appreciate your expediency. Any questions for this witness, Senator O'Loughlin?
What do you mean by a wildlife crossing?
So a wildlife crossing would be essentially a bridge or possibly a tunnel that crosses the interstate, but for wildlife rather than people. So there have been examples implemented in some of our western states and in Canada that have been very successful. Animals will use that ramp or bridge or tunnel rather than just running across the highway, and it saves lives, it saves vehicle collisions, and of course protects
So
wildlife.
you have a little sign that says alternate, please go to the left.
I'm not an expert on wildlife crossings, but I understand some fencing can be involved to sort of funnel animals to that area. But think about a deer or other wildlife, they're risk averse. They'd rather cross on a forested overpass than just running out in front of your vehicle. So.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. I don't think we had any other further witnesses in opposition. Okay, seeing none, we're just going to continue straight on with witnesses in support. Further witnesses in support of this legislation that would like to testify.
Good morning, Senator Lukemeyer, members of the committee. My name is Jeff Stack. I'm just testifying as an individual citizen today. Want to commend Senator Weber for this measure. I think it's forward-thinking. I know about, it must have been about 10 years, maybe a little bit further ago. I remember driving through Kentucky and really appreciating, I'm not sure what the situation is nowadays, but they did not have billboards along the highway. And I really appreciate that. Coming from Missouri, I thought, wow, this could be Missouri. And so I think that, I realize that there are commercial interests about trying to have advertising, but I think that we could do with a whole lot less billboards across our highways. And I agree with you, Senator O'Loughlin. There's no reason not to at least have a study to try to assess what the situation is and think about other ways to try to enhance the beauty of our state. People going through, they might decide, oh, gosh, this is a lovely place. Maybe I want to stay here. So it could be have some economic upturn as well. So be glad to answer any questions. I don't think there'll be any, but be glad to consider any. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support? Seeing none, Are there any witnesses for informational purposes only? Seeing none, that will conclude the hearing on Senate Concurrent Resolution number 9. Next up is Senate Resolution 156. Senator Carter, whenever you're ready.
They don't have to all leave on account of me. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Committee members, thank you for the opportunity to have Senate Resolution 156 brought before you. This is a resolution in support that reaffirms Missouri's steadfast support for our great friend and ally Israel. The resolution honors the deep historical and spiritual ties between Missouri, the United States, and Israel. Ties rooted in the recognition of Israel's ancient claims to its land, its independence in 1948 under the leadership of Missouri's own President Harry S. Truman, and its enduring partnership with our state and nation. It celebrates milestones like President Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's eternal capital and underscores the mutual benefits of this relationship. I ask for your favorable consideration to commend Israel and strengthen our bond as outlined in this resolution. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Senator Carter? Seeing none, how many witnesses in support do we have? And how many in opposition? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Sure, Senator Searpoy.
And it's not necessarily directed to you. Haven't we done something like this already? In support of Israel?
So we have passed a similar resolution to this in prior legislative sessions through this committee.
Okay.
I think it probably just has not gone cross-chamber is my guess as to why it's being followed.
It didn't get
And it doesn't bother me. I thought we'd done something like this before.
We have, yeah. There was a similar resolution presented last year that we did pass out of the committee. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so here's what we'll do. If we're going to have the initial witness can have 5 minutes to testify for pro and against. You kind of sort out amongst yourselves who you would like to go first and have the longer time limit. And then any subsequent witnesses in favor or in opposition will have 2 minutes to testify. And with that, we will start with the first witness in support of Senate Resolution 156.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. My name is Rabbi Zev Smason, and I represent the Coalition for Jewish Values Missouri, as well as being the Midwest Regional Vice President of the national organization. There exists a 77-year affinity for Israel, and standing at the front of the line is native son Harry Truman. Harry Truman grew up in the Knesset records, it stated, supporting Israel because he said that when he was growing up as a good Christian boy, his idol was Cyrus, King Cyrus. And he said that King Cyrus, issued the decree that the Jewish people should be able to go back to the land. And he said to himself when he was young and growing up, if I ever have the opportunity to support the state of Israel, to support the Jews returning to their homeland, I'm going to do that. And as they say, who'd have thunk it? And Harry Truman was in such a position. I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why I support Senator Carter's resolution. The first reason is because the connection between Israel and America and Missouri can be seen from our enemies. When they burned the flag of the United States in various cities throughout the world, the cities and the countries that hate our country, what other country's flag do they burn? They don't burn the flag of Belgium. They don't burn the flag of Australia. They burn the flag of Israel. They refer to America as the great Satan, and they refer to Israel as the little Satan. And as expressed by the Iranian government, Israel is the appetizer, and we, the United States, are the entree. Ambassador-elect Mike Huckabee said, this is not just about Israel, it's about us, America. And if we don't stand with them, they stand alone. If they fall alone, we fall next. It has been said by more than one individual that Israel is the canary in the coal mine. A second reason why I'm supportive of this bill, and I would urge you to consider supporting it as well, this resolution I should say, is that there's, on a moral level, the importance of standing with an ally. And right now, Israel needs an ally. And frankly, we, the Jewish people, need to know that we have friends. There's a long line of enemies that the state of Israel experiences across the globes, and sadly, on some of our own university campuses, as each of you, I'm sure, is well aware of. And the third reason why I would urge your consideration to support Senator Carter's resolution is that we as Americans are ultimately people of the book. We believe in the Bible as the foundational principles of this country and of this state. And the connection between Missouri and the United States and Israel is not simply economic and geopolitical, but it's also spiritual. And in a passage that I'm sure that many of you are aware of, God said to Abraham, "Those who bless you, I will bless, and those who bless Israel will indeed find themselves to be blessed." So in conclusion, as citizens of Missouri, those who may be Christians or whatever your faith or your belief might be, it's a privilege to say to Israel and to your Jewish friends, you'll never go through what it is that you've gone through and what you're going through alone. And it's a privilege, I would humbly suggest to say, that we will not simply stand behind you, but we will stand with you. And I'd like to thank Senator Carter for sponsoring this resolution and standing with us, not simply standing behind us. And again, I humbly call upon all of you to join Senator Carter in standing with Israel as well in supporting this resolution.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. First witness in opposition.
Good morning, committee. My name is Michael Berg. I'm here representing St. Louis Jewish Voice for Peace. And I would say that having this resolution at this time with what's going on in the world is just utterly depraved, honestly. Just 2 weeks ago, the state of Israel murdered 300 children in one day. 301 day has killed 18,000 children in the last year and a half. The largest number of children killed in any conflict in the 21st century, has killed and targeted over 200 journalists, the most journalists killed in any war. I'm Jewish. I was raised fifth-generation Missourian, St. Louis and Cape Girardeau, my family hails from. And this is being done in my name, and I have to stand up against it. That has been, what Israel is doing is been cited as genocide by all reputable human rights organization, and it is the policy of Israel to ethnically cleanse the entirety of the population of Gaza. They've stated that directly, and unfortunately, President Trump has stated that that's his policy also. I was taught to Jewish values and also American values, raised that people should not be treated differently because of race or religion, but I was also raised Zionist. When I went to visit myself, I saw a country that just reminded me of everything I've read and seen about the Jim Crow South. There's separate roads, separate laws for everybody based on your race. And now this last year and a half, it's obscene. They are starving out an entire population. There hasn't been food reaching Gaza for a year. So I just want to name a few things that we are honoring if we pass this resolution. Every one of you is honoring the kidnapping and torture of one of the world's most renowned pediatricians and neonatologist, Hussam Abu Safiya from Kamal Adwan Hospital. Israel has bombed every hospital in Gaza, which is a war crime. You're honoring the destruction of the third oldest church in the world in Gaza, which was bombed, the killing of the journalist, which I mentioned, well-documented practice of sexual torture of Palestinian prisoners. There is American Dr. Mark Perlmutter has documented that children in Gaza that he saw had sniper wounds in their head, one by one, which means Israeli military snipers had shot bullets into children's head, one by one, intentionally. This is what's going on. There was just last week emergency medical workers who came to the scene of an attack to rescue people who were murdered one by one and buried in a mass grave. This is happening, and you can say, oh, what are your sources? This is happening. This is all well documented, and there are other crimes going on. This is one of the greatest crimes going on right now, and for Missouri every year to continue to say, we will support this, and we will have a strong relationship with this is an abomination. I grew up being told, never again, never again. And I take that to mean all people. And now in my name as a Jew, there's a state in the Middle East which is committing genocide, and it is horrific, and it is depraved for the state of Missouri to pass this.
Senator Searpoy.
Thank you. I noticed in your litany of grievances you didn't mention October 7th.
Well, this is not a resolution to honor Hamas, is it?
No, but all the grievances you have were caused by what happened on October 7th.
That's not accurate.
If that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
Are you saying that
the hospital in Gaza had weapons stored in it?
They bombed every hospital. Hospital.
That's because Gaza stores weapons in every hospital.
That's actually not.
That is true.
Related.
They still
do you have the documentation?
They're still holding hostages they haven't released.
Yeah,
a year and a half after they abducted them.
And Israel has 10,000 Palestinian hostages. This is not a resolution to honor Hamas. This is a resolution to honor Israel, which they killed 300 children.
The problems that Gaza has right now. Egypt has a border with Gaza that is very heavily armed. Egypt could solve many of these problems.
That's not true. The border is controlled by Israel.
They don't have a border with Egypt?
Israel controls the border. Israel would be sending, there would be food going into Gaza through the Rafah border if Israel would let it happen. They've stopped the food for a month.
You would do well on the Columbia University as one of the protesters.
Thank you.
I think
the way it used to be.
What you said is disgusting, and I respect witnesses, but what you've said is just absolutely an error.
It's all true. It's all true.
Any further questions for the witness? Seeing none. Next witness in support. Witness in support. And since the first two witnesses have gone, we just remind all the witnesses, both for and against, to spend no more than 2 minutes on your testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Lukemire, and members of the committee. My name is Rachel Bray, and I am here today to show my support for Senate Resolution 156, which recognizes and affirms a strong and lasting relationship between the state of Missouri, the United States, and the state of Israel. I serve as the Director of Communications and Engagement at the Jewish Community Relations Council of St. Louis, where our mission is to build bridges across differences, foster meaningful dialogue, understanding, and collaboration. JCRC's council convenes more than 30 Jewish organizations, including synagogues and community institutions, spanning a wide range of backgrounds, beliefs, and interpretations of Jewish life. While our perspectives may vary, one thing that unites us and the Jewish communities around the world is our deep and enduring connection to Israel. The values reflected in Senate Resolution 156 are closely aligned with the mission of JCRC and resonate with the Jewish community here in Missouri. This resolution affirms Israel's significance, not just politically, but culturally and spiritually, and echoes two of JCRC's official positions. The first is our Finding Common Ground position, which was passed unanimously by our council. It expresses our commitment to Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state, the safety and security of its people, and promote open, respectful dialogue, even when we don't all agree. We also maintain a clear position supporting the recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. In doing so, we emphasize that this acknowledgement must always be accompanied by sensitivity to the city's religious and ethnic diversity. Senate Resolution 156 affirms our shared democratic values and highlights the importance of ongoing cultural and economic ties between Missouri and Israel, but perhaps even more important, it represents a commitment to mutual respect and hope for a lasting peace in the region, which, as we know, is more important now than ever. I urge you to support this resolution as a meaningful expression of our values and our partnerships. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Further witnesses in opposition?
Senator. Chairman, Senators, my name is Sean DeBria. I am a registered lobbyist, but I'm not here representing any particular interest. I'm only representing my own particular beliefs. May I read something from the resolution to express my concerns? The first sentence in the resolution says, whereas Israel has been granted her land under and through the oldest deed as recorded in the Torah or Old Testament, a tome of scripture held sacred and revered by Jews and Christians alike. Committee members, a deed is a legal document, and the scriptures are a collection of writings that reflect religious belief. And so it would seem that this resolution, rather than dealing with the political aspects of our relationship with Israel, is more or less an expression of spiritual belief. And I think that that's something that is inappropriate for us as a state. The pillar upon which our democracy is founded is one of separation of church and state, in the sense that the state doesn't take religious positions on behalf of its people, thus violating the consciences of those who may not agree with those particular religious beliefs. The second thing I would ask is, what is eternity? So one of the statements in the resolution says, Jerusalem is the eternal capital of Israel. Jerusalem has been captured and conquered more than 20 times throughout history, and 3 religious faiths have claimed it as their capital. So this is an ongoing debate, an ongoing conflict, and it's one that's not going to be settled by our particular resolution. Again, my concerns here has to do with the establishment of religion, and us and you as the representatives of Missouri taking a religious stance that's inappropriate.
Thank you.
So is that my time?
Yes, that's your time. That was
All right.
that was the timer going off. Thank you for your testimony. Senator May.
I just want to, good morning. I think it's still morning.
Yeah, go
for
ahead.
coming. So first, I just want to correct you. It's not accurate. It does not, we don't have anything in the Constitution that says that the state can't take religious positions or the government can't take religious position. The separation of church and state is not, is basically saying that you cannot force anybody into a particular religion or church. That came from the battle with the colonies in England, when England, would force everybody under the king into a certain religion. So I just wanted to correct you on that. It does not state. That's, people inaccurately state the separation of church and state. It only means that we can't force anybody into a particular religion or state. That's all it says. And also, resolutions don't have any force of law. They're just statements.
May I respond?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So establishment of religion has various dimensions. So it's not simply about forcing someone to worship, as in having a police officer make someone bow down. Establishment of religion is any time the state takes a particular position that reflects a very narrow religious position and claims that as the position of a democratic body, for instance. So if you look at the debates, both in the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, and the debates between Jefferson and Madison and John Jay and George Mason, there was this debate in terms of not only having established churches, but also the government taking particular positions that are religious positions on behalf of its people. It's one of the reasons why in the, may I finish? I'm sorry. It's one of the reasons why in the First Amendment, as well as in our Constitution, the Missouri Constitution, those two things go very closely together: non-establishment of religion and free exercise of religion. In other words, the state was to take no position, a neutral position, on every area of religion so that its people would be the most free to be able to make those decisions of conscience on their own. So anytime a government takes a particular position, that is a very, very powerful thing. And it has an impact upon citizens, which is the reason why we're having resolutions in the first place. If it didn't have any impact, then why would we be here doing this, asking for your assent on a particular position?
So actually, I'm very familiar with the papers, very familiar with the arguments. And if you would have heard last week, I was reading those very same arguments on the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you're talking about this is not basically the state taking a position. Resolutions have no force of law. That's the first part. Basically, they are, I don't know how you describe them.
They're very powerful symbols.
Well, I don't know. If you ask anybody across the state, have they read any resolutions of the state, they probably couldn't tell you one versus the law either.
So are you saying this is a meaningless action?
I'm not saying it's meaningless to the person who is presenting it.
So what?
I'm saying that resolutions have no force of law.
So
that's the accurate statement.
This is a sincere question. I'm not trying to be smart at all. What are the purposes of resolutions?
You would have to ask the people who enacted resolutions, because I do them very, very minimally. But
my understanding of resolutions is even though they don't have the force of law, they do have a symbolic value in terms of a particular chamber, sometimes the whole General Assembly taking a particular position.
And that's just that's just opinion.
No, ma'am, I don't think that's an opinion.
Because you follow a resolution does not mean that the whole assembly or whatever is taking a position. They're saying that if they support the resolution, is not supporting something else. You follow what I'm saying?
No,
and
ma'am.
so it's not taking a position. So we're just going to agree to disagree. Thank you.
Senator Williams.
I'd love to connect with you at some point and hear your thoughts on a couple things. I got to run to another committee, so I'll just find the time to talk with you.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, thanks.
Any further questions for the witness? Seeing none, further witnesses in support.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, David Wynn here on behalf of the Jewish Federation of St. Louis. Want to go on record in support of this resolution. Appreciate the time and the effort of the sponsor and the committee. I won't belabor this, but it seems like what you're hearing is a generic theme. This particular statement talks about the relationship between the state of Missouri and the state of Israel, and it is a rich, supportive relationship from both sides, and we appreciate both the senator as well as the committee for thinking about this and considering it. Thank you very much.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Winston? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further testimony in opposition? Seeing... Somebody needs to come up if somebody wants to testify in opposition.
Good morning. My name is John Tinker. I'm retired. I operate the community radio station in Fayette, Missouri. I have a long history of having one foot in the faith community and one foot in the political world, in the jurisprudence. My father was a Methodist minister who lost 2 churches because of the civil rights movement, because of his activity in favor of the civil rights movement in Iowa in the 1950s. He later worked for the Quakers and became very active against the Vietnam War, as was I as a child. I won a U.S. Supreme Court case in 1969 by wearing a black armband to oppose the war in Vietnam. I've been paying attention to the conflict, so-called conflict, in Gaza for the past 2 decades. On the question of what happened October 7th, nobody talks about what happened October 6th. Nobody talks about what happened during the March of Return, when several hundred peaceful demonstrators were shot and killed, when especially targeted were the ones in wheelchairs. The nature of this genocide is plain and obvious to the majority of the American people. And it's just a matter of time before the supporters of this genocide are going to take a political fall. And if you think what happened in Wisconsin yesterday was surprising, just wait until everybody realizes the level and the nature of the lies that have been coming out of Israel over this genocide. I've been recording, I've been saving videos. I have thousands of them. I've been stripping audio off of videos. The testimony against this genocide is overwhelming.
Mr. Tinker.
And you will be overwhelmed by it. It is just a matter of time.
Mr. Tinker,
I'm done.
thank you for your testimony. We appreciate it. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support?
Hi, my name is Chris White. I just wanted to go on record for Liberty Link of Missouri, and we're just thankful for this bill. And I'd like to refer to the scripture that the rabbi came up and said, I will bless those who bless you. In Genesis 12:3, we love Israel. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Witnesses, further witnesses in opposition?
Good morning again. Jeff Stack. I'm testifying on behalf of the Mid-Missouri Fellowship of Reconciliation. We would rather not have this measure come before you folks because it's really not that important for the people of our state. What it is doing is it's providing political cover for Israel, which is indeed committing genocide as we speak against the people of Gaza and the Palestinians in general. Just the other day, it was reported that at least 62,000 Palestinians have been killed so far in Gaza. That's a severe undercount. We're talking about a couple 100,000 people have died from the direct war or died as a result of medical treatment not being provided for, diseases, starvation. The U.S. is providing $18 billion in military aid to Israel to commit this slaughter upon the people of Gaza. And we should not be celebrating Israel. If we're friends of Israel, what we ought to do is say, it's time for you to stop the carnage, stop the genocide, the killing that's being done in our name. We're not being very good friends, though. We're instead letting them continue to perpetuate crimes against humanity. Among the different international organizations that have taken note, the International Criminal Court in November has issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the former Foreign Minister Yoav Gallant. They recognize that these are some serious matters. Right now, people of Gaza are being told to leave that area so that there could be a Riviera of the Middle East that President Trump is speaking of. Talking about ethnic cleansing. This is what we're talking about, celebrating when we talk about Israel. I have nothing against Israel as a nation. I want to exist. But the Palestinian people, too, have a right to exist. If you're looking for a resolution to pass, how about one that talks about ending the carnage against the people of Gaza?
Thank you, sir, for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Arnie C., AC Dinoff, State Public Advocate. I submitted my form online in definite support. Unlike the last person who provided testimony, we have a long-lasting relationship with Israel in the state of Missouri. We jointly trade economic benefits. We have a long-lasting friendship that goes decades and generations. We need to continue this stride. In my opinion, there should be no hate, no discrimination, no bad ill in the world. They are our allies. We are friends with the State of Israel. This is a great joint resolution. I believe this resolution is very important to all of our Missourians. We have a lot of things in common, and it builds world friendship, and I am in full support of the Senate Resolution 156. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Dienoff? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in opposition?
Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Naveen Ayesh, and I'm here today on behalf of myself. I spent my entire 20s in this building trying to educate a lot of you about the reality of what is happening back home in occupied Palestine, because nobody wants to talk about what is currently happening, what was happening, and I think it's important to note that history didn't begin on October 7th. And as I read through resolution after resolution, every year, the one constant I am finding is the talk about mutual values, mutual beneficial relationships. And I want to ask what those are. Is it the value of genocide, the value of ethnic cleansing, the values of occupation? I brought images today because when we talk about present-day Israel and what they're doing, is this the values that we're talking about? I'm sorry, I'm shy to hold these pictures up, but is it this? This is what they're doing in Gaza right now to our children, to our women, to our homes. They are dressing in the clothing of our elderly and mocking them. People want to talk about hate, and it doesn't exist for no reason. I'm not here today because I'm a hateful person. I'm not here today to manipulate, to do whatever it is, the lies that are being told. I am here because what they are doing is wrong. And I know, all of you know deep down what they are doing is wrong, regardless of where you stand politically and regardless of where you stand religiously. And I'm happy to take any questions because I know that we are limited to 2 minutes.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Further witnesses in support?
Where do we leave? We leave. I want to leave these here for you. I'm going to leave it in a manila folder. Please look at them. They exist. It exists. It is still happening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jordan Kadosh. I'm the Regional Director for ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. ADL Heartland covers all of Missouri and parts of other states, based in St. Louis. Back when I was engaged to my wife, Avital, we were living in a 2-bedroom condo, and we couldn't fit all of her friends that came in town from undergrad to help her go wedding dress shopping, so we got an Airbnb. And we were sitting on the couch one night, and I was on my phone, I wasn't paying attention to everyone, and one of her friends kindly asked me what I was doing. I said I was booking a hotel room in Jerusalem because we were headed there soon. I wanted to introduce her to my family. And they said, oh, it's nice that you want to give a break, but everybody's family can be a lot. I said, no, between my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, their kids, there's over 100 of them. My family is a whole lot. And that's the kind of connection that this resolution celebrates. I didn't see anything about conflict, but it's about the person to person, the fact that we go back and forth, and the idea that this is not abstract. This is personal. This is where I take my fiance to meet my family. And so I hope that you'll consider that as you consider your vote. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Further witnesses in opposition?
Hello, good morning. My name is Ethan Crawford, and I strongly oppose Senate Resolution 156. This resolution frames the relationship between Missouri and Israel in overwhelmingly positive terms, focusing on historical ties, economic partnerships, and strategic cooperation. This kind of resolution can make it more difficult to address criticisms like the ongoing genocide in Palestine. This resolution does not just affirm Missouri's relationship with Israel, it actively shields Israel from accountability while deepening our state's involvement in unethical business practices that sustain human rights abuses in Palestine. By formally recognizing and commending Missouri's ties to Israel, the resolution strengthens diplomatic and economic connections, making it politically costly for legislatures to question or criticize Israel's actions. The resolution highlights Israel's contributions to Missouri's economy and security while omitting any mention of ongoing conflicts or human rights concerns. This one-sided framing can discourage open discussion about the state's role in supporting Israeli policies, including military actions in Palestine. By emphasizing bipartisan support for Israel, the resolution can create a political environment where dissenting voices, those who want to critique Missouri's role in the conflict, are marginalized or labeled as anti-Semitic. If passed, SR156 could be cited as a formal expression of Missouri's stance, making it harder for activists, lawmakers, or academics to push for state policies that divest from or challenge Israel's actions. Resolutions like this can serve as a foundation for future laws that further entrench support for Israel, such as anti-BDS laws that penalize companies or individuals who refuse to do business with Israel because of the ongoing genocide in occupied Palestine. I urge you to reject SR 156. This resolution is not just symbolic, it enables policies that will further entrap Missouri in supporting human rights abuses. If Missouri is to recognize its relationship with Israel, it must acknowledge the full reality, including its role in ongoing genocide in Palestine. Our policies should...
Thank you for your testimony. It expired. I thought you were wrapping up at the same time, but...
I have one sentence left, if I can.
Yeah, you can go ahead and say the last sentence.
Thank you. If Missouri is to recognize its relationship with Israel, it must acknowledge the full reality. Okay, I said that. Our policies should promote justice, accountability, and open debate, not shield corporations and governments that profit from oppression. Thank you for your time.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. You do have a witness form there, so we'll need you to fill that out before you leave. Any further witnesses in support? Witnesses in support. Any further witnesses in opposition?
I'm Paul Lehman, a lifetime member of Missouri, come out of southeast Missouri, the home of Rush Limbaugh. I am opposed to this resolution. One of the things that the Jewish scholar suggested was that the Torah was a recognized document. It is not a certified history of the Middle East, and most of us are Christian here. Why would senators want to endorse a narrow view of the history of Palestine? And I wanted to share a source from the Bible, which we Christians follow as our authoritative book. So the Jewish religion is not the only people in Palestine. Before Abraham came down from Ur to Canaan, there were people in that area. And he lived peacefully with them for many years. So there's always been people in Palestine. So it's a misleading statement to say that only Jews occupied the land of Palestine, or that they're entitled to that. So let me read the Bible quote that the God that we claim to worship, God preserved the other peoples, even though God chose the Jews to be God's people. God recognizes that God is the God of all people. So if I may read this passage from Genesis 21, 17 and 18. God called to Hagar, who was driven into the wilderness by Abraham, called to Hagar from heaven in the wilderness, "Come, lift up the boy Ishmael, and hold him fast with your hand, for I will make a great nation of him." God promised that the people of the land would also be great, and so the task is to get along and to not dominate the other people that live in the land and that share that and have equal right to the land.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony.
And I have a couple documents. How do I get that to the committee?
You can leave those here, and then we can have them copied and distributed to the members of the committee after the hearing is over. Thank you for your testimony.
I have
Any questions?
one for each person.
Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Further witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition. Further witnesses in opposition.
Good morning. Jim Pepler from St. Louis, opposing SR156. I really don't have anything prepared, but I'd like to follow up on some things that I haven't heard yet. A lot of what is in my head has already been said. One, back to October 7th and Hamas. When we do pro-Palestinian marches and demonstrations, there's a chant that says, "Resistance is justified when people are occupied." And that's not just a chant. That is international law. The occupied territories, the territories that Israelis are occupying is Palestinian land, and they have the right to resist. Israel actually does not have the right to defend itself against that resistance in international law. So that's one thing I'd like to point out. Another one is this bill talks about this cordial relationship, and maybe people know something that I don't know, but what I see is actually an extremely parasitic relationship where Israeli lobbyists contribute to your campaigns, you bring forward resolutions, and somehow the citizens of Missouri pay Israel $51 million a year. Why would we do that? That could go toward Missouri citizens' education, people that you represent. It could go toward health care. There are so many other things that $51 million of my money could be going toward. And this exactly mirrors what's happening at the federal level. AIPAC, the Israeli lobbyists, come in, they contribute $100 million in order to receive $100 billion in return.
Thank you, sir, for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Further witnesses in opposition.
Hello, my name is Luke Jensen, but today I'm testifying on behalf of Rasha Abu Salam, who is a Palestinian American and a humanitarian aid worker who's frequently in Egypt helping get aid into Gaza. So this is her testimony. While I am vehemently opposed to this resolution, I am not speaking today to convince any of our elected officials of anything in particular. I will not ask them to not support a terrorist state that openly carries out an illegal occupation, apartheid, ethnic cleansing, and genocide. I will not ask them to support a state that has broken every international humanitarian law and rule of war that has been created by the very government our current officials claim to represent. Rather, I want to make sure the following message is officially registered today: that any elected U.S. official that has signed onto any bill that supports Israel since October 2023 needs to be put on trial by the International Criminal Court for being complicit to a genocide. Any elected official that has supported sending American tax money, weapons, or simply states we support Israel while it's carrying out its campaign of mass slaughter should be put on trial in The Hague and found guilty of aiding and abetting Israeli war crimes and crimes against humanity. Let it also be on record that any elected official who supports any call to criminalize criticism of Israel or extremist Zionist ideology by hampering down on American rights protected by the U.S. Constitution should be put on trial for treason, as they are destroying American values to protect a foreign entity. Your words will tell us one thing, but your signature will stain your legacy forever.
I would say any questions for the witness, but if that was somebody else's testimony, I don't really know how we can ask any questions. But are there any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Further witnesses in opposition? Seeing.
Hi, my name is Lori Wern. I am just here to testify for myself. I find this resolution bizarre and vulgar at a time when much of the world considers Israel to be not only an apartheid state, but also committing genocide against the people. And I ask that you not celebrate with this resolution at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for this witness? Seeing none. Any further witnesses in opposition? Seeing none. Any witnesses for informational purposes only? Seeing none. Senator Carter, do you have any concluding remarks you'd like to make?
Just one. I appreciate you guys, the committee, hearing this resolution, and I just want to make it clear that there have been no contributions made to my campaign for bringing this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for that clarification. That will conclude the hearing on Senate Resolution 156. I would now make a motion that we go into executive session. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. The ayes have it. The committee is in executive session. I now make a motion to bring before the body for consideration Senate Resolution 156. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. The ayes have it. The resolution that we just heard from Senator Carter is before the committee. Is there any discussion? I would now make a motion that we vote do pass Senate Resolution 156. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Luke DeMeyer.
Aye.
O'Laughlin. Searpoy. May.
May left her vote with the chair. She votes aye.
Williams.
Senator Williams left his vote with the chair. He votes aye. By your vote of 5-0, you have voted do pass Senate Resolution 156. I now make a motion to exit executive session. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those contrary, no. I would now make a motion that we adjourn the committee. Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. We are adjourned.